Hi there, it's me, Good Times with Gabe. I haven't posted in a while, but today I'm going to be interviewing artist and composer Randy Edelman. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Gabe. Nice to be here with you.
Nice to be here with you too. Now,
Okay.
you just released a song about life post pandemic for Soho Johnny's record label called Coming Out the Other Side. What was your pandemic experience that caused you to write the song?
Well, I was just sitting around here. I couldn't go out anywhere, and just kind of thinking about everyone being kind of at loose ends, and thinking about almost historically how some of these things have happened, sort of as involved with the history, long history of the world, and I wanted to write something that kind of spoke about this particular time, but also referred to uh, the other times when this has happened, sort of an anthemic thing. Anthemic, that's the word. And so I started thinking about different ways that I could approach writing it, but not being doing it in kind of a serious preachy way, kind of doing it and having a good time about it, and thinking about some people I knew that were friends of mine that I couldn't see for a while. And so I came up with this song, and I tried to sort of encapsulate all those different things in this song while still keeping it kind of fun.
Well, that's really interesting.
I
Now,
I thought you'd say that.
how'd you know? Now, also, when you recorded your brand new single, I Understand, there were two different versions with some backstories. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Ah, okay. Well, the first version of the song um, that I did initially, I did as I just told you. I kind of it wanted it to be kind of poppy and rock and rolly, and be a fun track, which I did all actually right here where I'm talking to you from my studio behind my house. And but then I when I came to New York to do some promotion for it, and this wonderful person who was involved with the record label that is releasing the song, called Soho Johnny, no, called Tribeca Records, uh, but it's operated by someone named Soho Johnny. There was this wonderful person there, and we went down to shoot a video for the song, and they wanted me to just be sitting at the piano. And I said, I don't think I can really do this song because it wasn't meant to be just a piano and a vocal. But she asked me to do that. So I did it. And suddenly everybody started listening. Particularly, she came up to me and said, "Hey, the song seems to have a little more meaning that way because you can hear the words. It has a really nice melody, and you're playing kind of a very classic arpeggiated piano style, which I kind of used to do years ago when I just was doing songs before movies. Anyway, so we decided that I would go in the studio and also record that version of it because it feels completely different, even though it's the same song, same chords, same melody, and same lyrics. That wonderful lady's name is Eileen Shapiro, and she's very smart. Was a wonderful writer, and so I was kind of pushed into doing it, but I'm very happy that I did do it. And that's it, and that's that version. Totally different than the record that I had done, but both I think appropriate for different situations. I'd be
Hmm.
interested to know, Gabe, if you heard both the versions, which one you would like better. But we can't do that now, but you'll tell me later.
I will tell you later.
Yeah, or report it to somebody, who
I can
maybe
report it to
around.
some.
Okay.
Now, you have scored a countless amount of movies, including My Cousin Vinny, 27 Dresses, Kindergarten Cop, Last of the Mohicans, and about 100 others. What is the process you go through to be able to write music for an entire movie? In other words, do you get the script and then think about the music, or do you actually see the film through?
That is a very good question. Very astute of you. No, you can read a script, but to be very honest with you, that won't really point you in the right direction. You have to see uh, you see the movie after it's shot really, and look at it, see the characters, see the style, the way the director shot the film, see the way that film looks, what period it takes place, what year, what city, uh, and so I found over the years that it's best that I wait and actually see something before I start writing. Of course, you can read a script and have a like a notion of what you think the movie's going to look like and the characters are going to look like. But until you see it, you really don't get that spark. So generally, the answer to your question is I like to wait till I see something. It doesn't have to be a finished edit of the picture. It could be a rough cut or even some early scenes edited together, sequences. But that's the way I like to do it.
Hmm. Well, that seems like a good way, and if it works for you, it works for you.
It works for me. It may not work for you if you ever decide to get into this line of business.
Hmm. Well, you also wrote songs for artists like Barry Manilow and Nelly and the Carpenters. How did that come about? Do artists just come to you and say, "Can you write a song for me," or does it happen organically?
It no, that never happens. The last thing, nobody ever comes to you and writes a song for yeah, and asks you to write a song. You write a song. In my case, I uh, wrote songs and did my own albums, which didn't sell, shall we say, didn't sell in a big way. Therefore, I wanted other people to do the songs, but they mainly heard them by hearing them from my recordings on my own albums. But no, I never and I never really wrote songs for a particular artist. What's
Hmm.
that? A dog?
It
That
is a
remind
dog.
okay, which leads us to I did lots of movies uh about dogs. Remember a movie called Beethoven about a Saint Bernard? No, you're a little too young for that.
Hmm.
But okay, there were a lot. There's okay. I diverse. Okay, let's. So anyway, no, I basically write songs that I kind of feel, whatever they are at the time, and then people usually pick them up from hearing my own recordings of them.
So it's the exact reverse. You write the song, then the people come, not the
Right.
people
Then
come,
the
then you
people. Yeah, I write the song, and then whatever means, whichever way a different artist will come to the song, they will hear it on my album or hear. You mentioned someone named Nelly, who's a rapper. Uh, that's a whole other story. He heard a recording that somebody else did of my song. That was someone named Patti LaBelle, who's a great singer. Uh, and years later, he heard that recording and then adapted it to his style. So the records happen in lots of different ways.
come. Now, what motivated your composition themes for NASA and the Olympics? Now, even though you said that usually you write the songs and they come to you, did they come to you and tell you what they wanted? Did you write it then they came to you, or did you write it by accident?
Okay, it's the same as I just told you for the songs. They don't come to you. What they used is they used music that I had written for films for the events you just mentioned. Now, once in a while, uh, they will call about something specifically, but as far as the Super Bowl or the NASA launch or Wimbledon or those things, they responded to certain film scores that I had done, which had a very kind of uh, triumphant anthem like quality. And then they started using that music written for a certain situation in the film for a sporting event like opening the Super Bowl or closing the Olympics or the America's Breeders' Cup, the horse race. So in the same way, they picked up from it. Once in a while, they very rarely will they actually call and say, write music for this event. At least with me, that's the way it happened. It happened from music that I'd written for something else.
Hmm.
I
Now,
know it sounds strange. That's my experience.
well, I mean, I guess it could be different for everyone. Um, During your career, up until the present, what was your biggest challenge and how did you overcome it?
Uh, my biggest challenge right now is completing this particular show that I'm doing with you. No, I'm only kidding. Oh, uh, biggest challenge. You know what? Each area that I've been involved with is always a challenge. If you're doing an album, that's one challenge. If you're writing a film score and you don't have enough time to do what it's going to take, then you have to figure out a way to get it done. Um, and once in a while, you're doing a concert, that can be challenging because you want the music to sound in a live setting the way it did on a recording that you made of it. And that's not so easy because when you write music and you record it, whether it's for a film or an album, you have a lot of time in the studio to make it sound the way you want. If you do a live concert, um, you have to try to duplicate that, and that's not always so easy. So that's one of the things that I found doing orchestra concerts, especially in Europe, that it's hard to get certain players to play in a certain style that you recorded that music in. It's not just music that's written on a piece of paper. It has to sound a certain way, and if there's a certain guitarist playing it or a solo instrument. So that's challenging.
Mm-hmm. Now, you've written like a million songs. Do you have a favorite, and why did you become a composer in the first place?
Um, okay. As far I didn't really think about it. It's like the only thing when I was even much younger than you, it seemed to be the only thing that I felt I had a leg up on other people. Nobody was really interested when I was young. Music wasn't kind of what it is now, but I thought I had a certain uh, ear for it, and I gravitated toward listening to things, whether it's on records or radio, and then going to the piano and seeing if I could duplicate the sound of it or the melody. And so that's what kind of led me to all this from an early age. I didn't have any idea of what I was going to do or what I'm doing now or have done for years and years. But it's not like I decided I was going to become a composer. I just seemed to be something that it was the only thing that I was good at. I wasn't, if I didn't do this, I don't know what I'd be doing. Now, as far as having a favorite song or score, I don't really have a favorite. Uh, there because I've done different styles and genres in movie scores and also in songwriting. And there's certain ones that I really certainly like better than others. But I don't have uh, a favorite. There's one, for instance, that I wrote years ago um, for about my grandfather. Now you may say, "Jesus, you wrote a song about your grandfather. That doesn't sound too interesting or cool." But it was because it was kind of a shortened version of his life and when he started out as a young kid in New York City, and it was called "The Woman on Your Arm." It was about him and my grandmother, and it turned out that when I recorded it and I told them I wrote a song about them, uh, they were still alive then, and it's like they said, "Oh, that's nice." And at the time, they were very old. They wouldn't have known anybody that was singing songs that was popular at the time. Let's say it was Elvis Presley or the Beatles or where, except there was one singer who was the biggest singer of their generation, bigger than anybody. He still is. His name was Bing Crosby. And wouldn't you know it, Bing Crosby recorded the song. And when they heard and listened to it, they just fell over. They couldn't believe it, because now to other people at that time, it may not have seemed as much, but it was a big deal. So that's just a little, and I do love that song and Bing Crosby's version of the song. Unfortunately, a week later, it was in London that he recorded it, and he went to Spain. He was a fantastic golfer. And while playing golf that weekend in Spain, the weekend before I would have met him, he had a heart attack, and we never heard from Bing again. Yes, I know, but I know I'm confronting you with this. This is the story. So I never got to meet him. However, he recorded the song and they heard it. Okay.
Well, I guess that's what matters.
And okay, I know that you have a good sense of humor. I can see right now, Gabe. So here's what you're gonna have a good laugh now. So listen, I'll just finish that. I know it's a terrible thing to tell you. So when so I had the recording of it. The thing came out. I went back to New Jersey for something from London, and I played the song for my grandparents, and I told you they just couldn't believe it. Bing Crosby recording a song about us, and my grandmother turned to me. She was much older then, and she said, "Do you think we could ever meet him?" And of course, I had to say, "I don't think so." Okay. How good you got? You know what, Gabe? You're a good guy. You got it. You got the humor. Okay, just a sense of humor. He had a very good life, believe me, Bing Crosby. I'll sing some, but how about this one? I'm dreaming of a white Christmas. Okay, that's it. All right.
Well, as long
Live
as
here.
Copyright, that's fine.
Huh?
As long as that's not copyright, it's fine.
Of course. Well, it's allowed. Oh, that's right. Yeah, you're not allowed to. Okay. It was so bad no one would know. You just edit that out.
You can't edit.
Okay, you're on the ball, my friend. You have a future in this business. You hear that? What's in it? Okay. Okay, so this is great. I'm really enjoying this. But I'm sorry that I hit you from left field with that kind of tragic tale, but I just got to be honest with you.
Hey,
At this age, you got to start dealing with the truth, Gabe. So, okay. I'm going to give it to you straight.
Trust me, there's a lot of things that I've done that I wish I have not done. Mainly in health class, but that's a story for another day. Well, do you have any advice or words of wisdom for someone wishing to go into the music industry?
Yes. Learn, make sure that it depends if you're a musician. So I'll just say, make sure that you become very skillful and study your craft. That's what you first have to do. You can't think about the exposure and the money you got to love music and be passionate about it and work hard and get really good. I don't care if you play the clarinet or the piano or whatever your focus may be. Really develop that and get really good, so that when you get an opportunity, which you never can tell when an opportunity comes, if you're fortunate enough to do that, because this is a difficult business, then you'll be ready for, to make the most of it. So you've got to do that and do everything you can in whatever area that is to get great experience, whatever that is.
Mm-hmm. Now, in case you don't make it, you should always have a fallback plan before you start this stuff. Am I correct?
Well, you should. Yeah, you should. So, yeah, what's this leading to? Are you asking me, did I have a fallback?
Well, did you?
Absolutely not. No net. No net. My parents were not happy. No, I didn't. Now, did I start college in pre-med? Yes. But was that ever going to be a possibility? Somebody who faints at the sight of blood, and I mean, forget it. But it's not like that was an easy fallback. I still would have had to go to school for 8 years and then intern, and I wouldn't. Between you and I, Gabe, I would have never made it. So I may have fallen back on something else, like but it wouldn't have been in that in the medical field or any kind of field where you had to study, the book study kind of thing. But no, you should absolutely. I would tell anybody, anybody I know or in my family, you got to have a fallback. But me, no, I just at a certain point, I just went for it. I had to, because like I said, that was it.
Well, this has been fun. That's going to be all for today, sadly, though. I have all my questions done. I've had a good time.
Oh, I'm really. Are you sure you haven't done? I don't want to leave anything to chance here. I want to feel that we've left it all on the floor. You know what I mean? But it sounds like you have.
Well, I mean, we've covered a lot of ground. We know the story about how you didn't have a fallback plan.
So I'm really sorry about that. Yeah, that is not meant to be taken for anybody of a young age who hears this. Please don't take that to heart. You definitely should have a fallback. I just didn't happen to have one.
And we've learned about one of your favorite songs and why. And
yeah, but that had a little twist on it that maybe you can edit out because we don't want to bring the show down to a certain emotional level.
Thank you for everything.
All right, thanks, Gabe. You're really great.
Thank you. Now, to the people watching, like and subscribe. Please, just do it. Like, come on. It's not hard. It's not hard. And you help me out. So, thank you.
Okay, Gabe. Thanks. Great.